So my question is law enough for us here? And I guess the lead in is education is important when it comes to free speech. And so will laws protect us, or do we need more?
Law does have an impact on culture. The beneficial impacts, there are some negative impacts, but the beneficial impacts is that the Supreme Court has allowed dissenting views to flourish. It has protected those who form insular minorities to be able to function, to advance their own values, whether it's religious or non-religious. So that has an impact on culture, but it doesn't change culture in the macro sense. That requires something much more profound. You know, the fact is, as Benjamin Franklin indicated, with whether we can keep this republic, is that every generation has to renew that commitment. And it's only going to be renewed if people understand who they are. You know, in my book that's coming out on democracy, I talk about a Frenchman who came to this country and wrote this essay that asked, "What is this American?" And he meant it honestly, that what he saw in the United States at the very beginning of who we were as Americans, something different. We have to remember that. We have to remember that we have a core identity that really reminds us that the Constitution is not a covenant with the government. It's not a social contract with our leaders. It's a leap of faith in each other, that even when we disagree, maybe even hate each other, we will be there. We have each other's back. Now, that's obviously important for free speech, but it means that we have to do better in teaching civics. We also have to do better in teaching the touchstones of Western civilization. Western civilization supplied the foundation for many of these rights. And the idea that it has been reduced or marginalized is one of the great tragedies of higher education. You can teach non-Western civilization. It should be taught. And we can learn a lot from non-Western civilizations. But we don't have to deny the impact of Western civilization on human rights, on individual rights, on defining who we are. And so I do think that universities need to go back to core curriculum on a number of issues, including Western civilization. But most importantly, we need to do a much better job in secondary education to teach these core values. For example, we don't teach free speech in high schools. Most of what students learn about free speech is either trite or it's actually inaccurate. That is, they're learning in a culture of intolerance. They're learning that they don't have free speech, that free speech is harmful. We need to address that because that's where new citizens are formed.